Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 5 between University of Western Ontario and University of Toronto. Playing for University of Toronto, we have NMxFGL as the yellow Protoss, and I know I was focused on the wrong person, but playing for University of Western Ontario, we have Rajiv Jain, aka brOwNrA, and I don't know if I already said this, but NMxFGL is Michael Yu, and I know I didn't say it now that I have actually said his name. So, now that I'm done embarrassing myself, let's go on and get into the game. We do have a PvP on Cloud Kingdom. It does look like we will be seeing some very fast-paced play. Protoss versus Protoss do tend to be very fast-paced, quick and decisive games, just depending on whose micro is better compared to who can get away with more probes in their build. So both players dropping a standard 9 LON, chrono boosting out probes, so relatively standard opening for both players. Not going to be any silly cheese or proxy gates or anything. I actually haven't even seen a proxy gate since, well, besides getting cheesed on the ladder. I haven't seen a proxy gate used as a legitimate strategy since the beta, so both players grabbing their gateway at exactly the same time. If anything, FGL is just a little bit ahead, maybe half a second ahead, so we also do have this probe now scanning around, just going to make sure there aren't going to be any hidden pylons, and same thing going down for brOwNrA. Looks like he's going to scalp. So yeah, PvPs do tend to be very fast-paced. brOwNrA actually grabbing his gas 1 or 2 supply earlier, just trying to make sure he can get that warp gate out just a little bit faster, I would suppose. So we do see a pylon going down for both players because getting supply blocked is terrible. Yeah, just scouting around, making sure there isn't going to be any sort of silly harass coming in that they aren't aware of. So gateway finished, and immediately a cyber core for FGL. Let's see, there should be a cyber core coming right up, unless, oh no, there was no probe block, so that cyber core is able to go down. Yeah, it all depends on whichever player decides they want to put the pressure on first, and then it is up to the defending player to survive with more probes. If they do get that probe advantage and do manage to survive, they are usually, almost always, definitely ahead, just because this probe is just harassing the shields. I really like that. The other probes are just coming to him, just walking into the damage. So, cyber core is being chronoed. And we do have, warp gate, excuse me, we do have the cyber core also going down and being chronoed. No, it looks like brOwNrA is just a little bit distracted. There is no chrono on the warp gate for brOwNrA yet, so it looks like we may have a little bit of an opening. Just looking at the supply, yeah, we do have FGL chrono boosting out that warp gate research, so it looks like we are going to see potentially some pressure going down from FGL. So 60 seconds compared to 30, a full 30 seconds ahead for FGL. Is there a probe with these zealots to place a forward pylon? Doesn't look like there is. Are we going to see another chrono boost on the warp gate? We are, so that's going to buy an additional amount of time. So he was 30 seconds ahead. I wonder how much one single warp gate will actually increase the advantage of one single chrono boost. So now that chrono boost looks like, oh, we do see 3 gateways going down, so it is going to be 4 gate. So just looking at the time, 110 to 170. So each chrono boost saves about 10 seconds off of the total research time. So for those of you math majors, go make sure, this is the CSL, you guys are supposed to know what you're doing, right? So, the zealots are now getting a little bit ahead of the army, just going to straight up engage. One zealot getting dangerously low, the other one as well, looking like it's going to stay alive, and now the stalker is going to chase the weakened stalker now, which has no shields. The zealots are microing excellently, but it doesn't look like it will be enough. We do see some forward pylons going down for brOwNrA and FGL. He did have a probe drop a forward pylon in the main. FGL does need to get a vision in order to warp in on that high ground, and brOwNrA does not see the forward pylon for FGL, so it does look like FGL's 4-gate was thwarted. He did lose all of his units. There is a single zealot now that was warped in at a forward position, and actually I missed this, but we have a Stargate going down for brOwNrA, so it does look like we are going to see some harass potentially. brOwNrA definitely has the army advantage, especially with that Phoenix, to be able to pick up high value targets, HVTs. Holy cow, I did just throw that word out there. And a Nexus going down for FGL. I'm not sure I really like this Nexus. FGL just tried to put on some forward pressure, and while he does have the gateway advantage to his opponent, who is only now making his second and third gateway in addition to that Stargate, that Nexus is going to be very, very difficult to defend. We do see a forward reinforcement pylon. The Zealot is going to see those Stalkers and unfortunately will die unless he makes it to the army. No, he does make it to the army. And the probe going to go drop a forward pylon, gets picked off. A little bit of miss micro there. We do have 2 Phoenixes now scouting around, seeing if they're going to do anything what they can. But that 4-gate will allow FGL to resupply with more units. He currently still is behind, though, especially 5 Stalkers, 1 Zealot, 2 Phoenix against 2 Zealots, 2 Sentries, and 2 Stalkers. There's another Stalker out, but I'm not sure if it'll be enough. Big force field separating the army, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. The Zealots getting in. Big force field pickups going down on the Sentries, getting those high-value targets of which I spoke. The Sentries do go down. No more force fields or Guardian Shields for FGL. And brOwNrA looking like he's going to try to take the game very, very quickly, just putting on as much pressure as possible. Another pickup of the Stalker. The Stalker will die to the Phoenixes. Meanwhile, the other Stalkers and Sentry for FGL are trying to clean up the ground army, and they are relatively effective. brOwNrA's army is just slowly getting lower and lower, but it does look like brOwNrA's Phoenixes are going to be able to turn the tide in this. 2 Stalkers and 3 Phoenixes against 4 Stalkers and 1 Sentry. It's really going to be a close call. A big force field separates one of the Stalkers and allows FGL to pick it off. A quick pickup allows brOwNrA to get one of the Sentries, and the Sentries, Phoenixes do fly away after losing one of their own. We do have 3 more Stalkers out. brOwNrA needs to be careful with these Stalkers without the support of the Zealots. One of the Stalkers does go down. brOwNrA now moving in with the Zealots. A bit of probe tanking from FGL. Looked like it's going to do the trick. The Stalkers managed to pick up another Stalker for brOwNrA, and it does look like FGL is going to hold this really well if he just continues to micro his Stalkers against those Zealots. The Phoenixes are set to follow those poor Stalkers, but unfortunately with no energy they can't do any pickups. They actually do have enough energy to pick up, but they are not. They really do need to be making full use of that. And now the Sentry, here they go. The Phoenixes, 1 Phoenix does go down for 1 Sentry. I don't know if I agree with that. Phoenixes are very, very expensive, especially with the Stargate investment. And it does look like these Zealots are going to try to engage one another now, but I don't know if brOwNrA will be able to continue doing damage. FGL is holding this very, very well, especially now that he's got that forward nexus. And brOwNrA, GG's, University of Western Ontario, loses game number 5, which does give the series to University of Toronto, taking it in a 4-1 series. An excellent play from University of Toronto. Some very, very exciting PvP in this last game 5. So University of Toronto does advance to the Northern Division Finals. And yeah, that's everything. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next series of games.